It happened to a man named Robert, 67 years old, healthy, confident, a retired engineer who'd always taken care of himself. One night, as he leaned in to be intimate with his wife, his body froze. He felt the desire, the heartbeat, the warmth, but nothing happened below. He waited, tried again, and still nothing. In that moment, he said it felt like his manhood had switched off, like his body had forgotten how to be a man. What most men don't realize is that this isn't the end of masculinity. It's a warning sign, a sign that the blood flow that once surged easily is now slowing, that your body is asking for help before it's too late. I'm Dr. James, a urologist and men's health specialist. For over 3 decades, I've helped thousands of men over 60 restore their natural performance, without pills, pumps, or false promises. I've seen men in their 70s walk back into my office smiling again, not because they found a miracle drug, but because they learned how to work with their own biology. Here's what might surprise you. Your body still remembers exactly how to get hard. The signal isn't gone, it's just asleep. And the way to wake it up doesn't come from a bottle, but from a 3-minute bedtime ritual that reignites circulation and revives natural firmness almost instantly. Tonight, I'll show you exactly how this works, the science, the steps, and the reason this one simple habit before bed can change everything you thought you knew about aging, performance, and confidence. Stay with me. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos on men's health, vitality, and confidence after 60. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're watching. If not, type 0 and tell me what kind of advice you'd like me to cover next. Now let's get right into it. To understand how this 3-minute trick works, you first need to know what truly causes weak or fading erections after 60. Because if you don't understand the root of the problem, poor nighttime blood flow, you'll never trust the simple solution that fixes it. Section 1. The silent thief of male vitality. When I sit across from my patients, men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, I often see the same look in their eyes. It's not fear, it's quiet frustration. They tell me, "Doctor, I still feel desire, I still love my wife, but my body, it just doesn't respond like it used to." I nod because I've heard this story hundreds of times and I know exactly what's happening inside their bodies. It's not a loss of manhood, not a failure of masculinity, it's circulation. The silent thief that slowly robs a man of his vitality without him ever realizing it. When you were young, your body worked like a perfectly tuned engine. Blood rushed easily through every vessel, responding instantly to desire. But as we age, our arteries stiffen, our blood pressure rises, and the vessels that feed your most intimate organ begin to narrow. You don't feel it happening day by day. There's no warning sign, no pain, just a gradual fading, like a light dimming over time. And then one night, you reach for the person you love and the spark isn't there. You think it's just fatigue, maybe stress, but in truth, your body is struggling to send blood where it's needed most. This happens because of a breakdown in what I call nighttime circulation. During deep sleep, your body performs maintenance, restoring oxygen, balancing hormones, and flushing blood through your pelvic region. Those natural nighttime erections you used to have, they weren't random, they were your body's way of keeping the tissue strong and flexible. But when your sleep becomes shallow or your blood flow slows, those nighttime pulses disappear. And when they're gone, the tissue that once filled with life begins to weaken. It's not age that steals your strength, it's neglect. Years of untrained circulation. I remember one of my patients, Paul, who came to me at 72. He was healthy, walked daily, ate well, but confessed that he hadn't felt a full erection in over 2 years. He told me, "I just figured that part of my life was over." I asked him about his nights, how he slept, how often he woke up, whether he still felt that morning fullness he used to have. He shook his head. That told me everything. His body wasn't getting its nightly workout anymore. His blood flow had gone silent. We ran some simple tests and the results were clear. His testosterone was within normal range, his heart was strong, but his pelvic circulation was sluggish. It was like a river that had turned into a trickle. The good news was that rivers can flow again when the channels open. I taught him the same 3-minute bedtime method I'll share with you today, a way to gently wake the vessels and reintroduce blood where it belongs. Within a few weeks, Paul's morning erections returned, not from medication, but from motion. His body remembered. You see, the body never truly forgets how to perform. It only forgets how to respond. That's why I tell every man over 60, you're not broken. You're simply disconnected from the rhythm that once kept your blood alive. The trick is to reactivate it, to teach your body again how to send those signals at night so that when the moment comes, everything is already awake and ready. I understand the shame some men feel when they talk about this. Society taught us that manhood is strength and that talking about weakness somehow makes us less. But in truth, acknowledging the problem is the strongest thing you can do, because once you see it clearly, once you understand that the issue isn't in your mind or hormones but in your circulation, that's when you can fix it. And here's the most hopeful part. Circulation isn't lost forever. It can be retrained. The same way you'd stretch an old muscle or revive a forgotten habit, you can restore the pulse of blood through your body. It takes patience, a few minutes each night, and a willingness to believe that your best days are still ahead of you. So before you ever think about giving up or reaching for another quick fix, remember this. Your blood holds the key to everything. When it moves freely, you feel younger, stronger, more alive. And when it stagnates, life itself starts to slow down. The question is, how do you wake that blood up again right now without medication and without waiting months for results? That's exactly what we're about to uncover next. Section 2. Why pills aren't the answer. I remember the first time a patient came into my office clutching a bottle of little blue pills. He looked exhausted, not from age, but from disappointment. He said, "Doc, these worked for a while." Then they stopped. I took a higher dose, then another, now nothing. He looked down at his hands, ashamed. "Am I out of options?" I put my hand on his shoulder and said, "No, you're not. You just started fixing the wrong problem." Because here's the truth. Those pills never repaired what was broken. They only forced a temporary reaction. Pills like Viagra and Cialis can absolutely help in certain cases, but what most men don't realize is that they're designed for emergency use, not as a lifelong solution. They push blood into your body artificially, without training your vessels to respond naturally. It's like jump-starting a dead car over and over again. Eventually, the battery gives out completely. Your body stops trying to create its own spark because it's been replaced by a chemical one. When you rely on medication night after night, your body becomes dependent. The vessels that once expanded with ease begin to stiffen. The nerves that used to trigger arousal become desensitized. And over time, what was once a quick solution turns into a quiet addiction. I've seen men in their 70s who could no longer perform even with the strongest doses, not because they were too old, but because their bodies had forgotten how to respond on their own. The sad part is that these men never needed the pills to begin with. What they needed was circulation, real, healthy, natural blood flow that starts from within. But no one ever taught them how to rebuild it. Most doctors hand out prescriptions faster than they hand out answers. And that's not because they don't care, it's because it's easier to medicate a symptom than to retrain a system. You see, an erection isn't about a pill. It's about communication between your brain, heart, and blood vessels. When you feel desire, your brain sends a signal down the spinal cord, releasing nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your arteries to open and allow blood in. But after years of inactivity, poor sleep, and stress, that signal grows weak. Pills simply override that natural pathway. They don't fix it, they hijack it. I tell my patients this all the time: you don't need more pressure, you need more permission. Your body is built to heal, to respond, to recover. But it needs the right conditions: oxygen, relaxation, rhythm. Those are the things pills can't give you. And that's exactly why men who rely on them often feel drained emotionally and physically, even when they work, because deep down they know something's missing, that their confidence isn't coming from within anymore. I once treated a man named Henry, a 66-year-old retired firefighter. He had been using pills for nearly a decade. He told me, "I don't even feel like myself anymore, Doc. I can't tell if I'm turned on or if it's just the medication." So we did something different. I took him off the pills for 3 months and taught him the same nightly circulation practice I'm about to show you, the same one that retrains your body to respond on its own. At first, he was skeptical, but by week 2, he started feeling warmth returning to his lower body. By week 4, he had his first natural morning erection in years. When he came back to my office, his smile said everything. "It's me again," he said quietly. That moment reminded me why I do what I do. Because men deserve to feel in control of their own bodies. They deserve to experience intimacy without fear, without dependency, without feeling like they need a prescription to prove their manhood. The truth is, you can't restore true strength through chemistry. You restore it through connection, through learning how to work with your own biology again. Pills may offer temporary results, but they can never rebuild the foundation. Only you can do that. And the good news is, it doesn't take months of treatment or expensive equipment. It takes just a few minutes each night, a simple, natural method that reawakens the very process those pills have silenced. Because once you understand what's really happening in your body, you'll see that you don't need medication at all. What you need is activation, a way to remind your body how to perform exactly as nature intended. And that's where the real science begins, in understanding how your blood vessels, nerves, and oxygen work together to create lasting firmness. So let's go deeper into that right now. Section 3. The Science of Blood Flow and Erection. Whenever I speak to my patients about erectile health, I always begin with this truth. Your erection is not a mystery. It's not luck, it's not magic, it's science. It's the most visible sign of what's happening inside your blood vessels, your nerves, and your heart. When your erection weakens, it's your body whispering that blood is no longer flowing as it should. I've seen too many men treat that whisper as shame, when in reality it's a message of warning and opportunity, because the same science that causes decline can also bring recovery. Let me explain it simply. An erection is just blood trapped in the right place at the right time. It starts in your brain, desire, emotion, memory, touch, and within seconds, your nervous system sends a signal down your spinal cord, releasing nitric oxide. This is the magic molecule that tells your arteries to relax and open. When they do, blood rushes into the spongy tissue of the penis, filling it, expanding it, hardening it. But that process depends entirely on one thing: how healthy your blood vessels are. When you're young, those vessels are flexible, like fresh rubber. They expand instantly when nitric oxide tells them to. But with age, sugar, inflammation, and inactivity make them stiff and narrow. It's like trying to inflate a balloon with a pinhole leak. The air escapes before it fills. That's why so many older men experience weak, inconsistent erections. It's not a lack of desire, it's a lack of flow. I once treated a man named Martin, 68 years old, who told me, "Doc, I feel everything. I want it, but my body just won't cooperate." His words hit me deeply because that's exactly how circulation decline feels. It's not that your passion disappears, it's that your body can't translate that emotion into action. When I examined him, I discovered early signs of endothelial dysfunction, a condition where the lining of your blood vessels loses its ability to release nitric oxide properly. In plain terms, his inner plumbing had forgotten how to respond to excitement. But here's the good news. Endothelial cells can be retrained. I've seen it countless times. When you restore oxygen, movement, and proper breathing, these tiny cells wake up again. They start producing nitric oxide naturally, opening your arteries wider and allowing blood to surge freely once more. That's why the 3-minute technique I teach works so effectively, because it's built on this exact science. It's not a gimmick, it's biology in motion. You see, your penis doesn't exist in isolation, it's a reflection of your heart and vascular health. Every beat of your heart should send a strong pulse of blood through your lower body. But if your arteries are clogged, your muscles tight, or you're breathing shallow, that pulse weakens. That's why deep, slow breathing plays such an important role. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for calm and arousal. When you breathe right, your blood pressure steadies, your vessels relax, and your circulation improves naturally. I always tell my patients, if you want better erections, start by treating your blood as life itself. Because it is. Every drop carries oxygen, energy, and vitality to the tissues that make you feel alive. The more you care for your blood, by moving, breathing, eating clean, and sleeping deeply, the more it rewards you. The most inspiring thing I've learned in my 30 years of practice is that men are never too old to change their circulation. I've seen men in their 80s regain firmness and stamina simply by reawakening the connection between breath, blood, and body. It's not about turning back the clock, it's about reigniting what's already there, waiting. So when I tell you that this 3-minute nightly practice can restore your erections, it's not an exaggeration. It's the result of understanding how your body works and giving it exactly what it needs: time, oxygen, and rhythm. Because when your blood moves with purpose, so does your life. But here's where it gets even more interesting. There's one specific bedtime technique that unlocks all of this naturally, without pills or side effects. It's simple, quick, and backed by science. In the next section, I'll walk you through exactly how to do it, step by step, so your body remembers what real, powerful circulation feels like again. Section 4. The 3-minute bedtime technique that restores firmness naturally. Every time I teach this to a new patient, I can see the same mix of disbelief and hope in their eyes. "Doctor," they ask, "you're telling me something this simple can actually work?" And I smile because I've seen it work countless times. It's not magic, it's biology. This technique is designed to reactivate your body's natural erection mechanism, the one nature gave you long before any pill existed. The truth is, every man over 60 still has this ability. It's just buried under years of poor circulation, stress, and shallow breathing. And the good news is that it only takes a few focused minutes before bed to wake it up again. Here's what I tell my patients. Think of your penis like a muscle. You don't strengthen a muscle by doing nothing. You strengthen it by giving it blood, oxygen, and movement. This 3-minute bedtime method does exactly that. It encourages blood to flow downward, then upward in a rhythm that mimics the body's natural erection cycle during sleep. That gentle push and pull of blood circulation is what keeps the tissues healthy, responsive, and ready. Start by lying flat on your back. Place one hand on your chest and one on your lower abdomen. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, letting your stomach rise. Hold for 2 seconds, then exhale softly through your mouth for 6. This kind of breathing activates your parasympathetic system, the part of your body responsible for calm, recovery, and arousal. It lowers stress hormones, stabilizes your heart rate, and begins to reopen the blood vessels that have been tight all day. Next, while you continue this slow breathing, flex your pelvic floor muscles, the same ones you'd use to stop the flow of urine midstream. Hold that contraction for 3 seconds, then release for 3. Repeat this rhythm for about a minute. You'll start to feel a subtle warmth deep in your pelvis. That warmth is oxygen-rich blood returning to your lower body. This simple movement retrains your pelvic floor to work in harmony with your circulation, pumping fresh blood toward the penis just as it did naturally when you were younger. Then, gently lift your legs about a foot off the bed and hold them for 10 seconds before letting them rest again. This uses gravity to pull the blood that's been pooling in your lower legs back toward your chest and groin. Do this 3 times, paired with your breathing. The entire sequence takes less than 3 minutes, but the effect is powerful. Men often tell me that within a week of practicing this nightly, they start waking up with stronger morning erections, a clear sign that the body's natural blood flow is returning. One of my patients, Richard, a 70-year-old former pilot, came to me after years of frustration. He'd tried medications, supplements, even expensive machines. Nothing lasted. When I taught him this 3-minute bedtime practice, he laughed and said, "Doctor, I'll try anything once." 2 weeks later, he walked into my office with a grin I hadn't seen before. "You were right," he said, "it's working, and I'm sleeping better too." That's when it hit me again. We often underestimate how simple natural movement and breath can unlock what expensive treatments never could. What's truly beautiful about this technique is that it doesn't just improve erections, it improves confidence, sleep, and overall vitality. When blood starts flowing freely again, energy returns. Men feel alive, balanced, and in control. It's like rediscovering a part of yourself you thought was gone forever. And that's why I always tell my patients, the goal isn't just to get hard again. The goal is to feel like yourself again, strong, calm, capable, and connected. So tonight, when you lie down, take those 3 minutes for yourself. No distractions, no pressure, just breathe and let your body remember what it was built to do. Because once your circulation wakes up, everything else follows. Energy, confidence, intimacy, life itself. And now that you know the method, you might be wondering, well, what happens inside your body when you start doing this nightly? How fast can you expect results, and how can you make them last for years to come? That's exactly what we're going to explore next. Section 5. What happens inside your body when you do this nightly? When I teach this nightly circulation technique, most men expect to see results only in one place, below the waist. But what surprises them most is how their entire body begins to change. Because the truth is, this isn't just about erections. It's about restoring the rhythm of blood, oxygen, and hormones that make a man feel alive again. Every time you perform this 3-minute ritual before bed, you're sending a message through your entire system. A signal that says, wake up, it's time to move again. Here's what happens inside your body. Within the first few nights, your breathing begins to deepen. That slow inhale and long exhale activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for calm and healing. Your heart rate steadies, your blood vessels relax, and your stress hormones start to drop. That alone is powerful because stress is one of the biggest erection killers men over 60 face. It tightens blood vessels and floods your system with cortisol, a hormone that blocks nitric oxide, the key chemical your body needs for firmness. When you breathe deeply before bed, you're not just relaxing, you're rebuilding the conditions that allow your blood vessels to open again. Next, as your body begins to relax, the pelvic floor exercises you've been doing start to strengthen a network of small but mighty muscles that act like a natural pump. These muscles help push blood towards your groin and trap it there, exactly what's required for an erection. Over time, this nightly movement retrains the connection between your brain, your nerves, and your blood flow. It's as if you're teaching your body to remember the pattern it once knew effortlessly. After about a week, most men report something remarkable. They start waking up with stronger, fuller morning erections. This is the first sign that your body is beginning to restore balance. Your blood vessels are responding to nitric oxide again. Your tissues are regaining elasticity, and perhaps most importantly, your confidence begins to return. You feel the difference not just physically, but emotionally. You start to trust your body again. But the benefits go even deeper. When circulation improves at night, your body produces more testosterone naturally. Studies have shown that healthy blood flow and restful sleep work together to boost hormone levels by as much as 30%. That means better energy, sharper focus, and even stronger bones and muscles. You're not only improving your sexual health, you're slowing the aging process itself. I remember one patient, David, a 64-year-old mechanic who'd spent years on medication for both blood pressure and erectile dysfunction. After a few weeks of doing the nightly routine, he told me something that stuck with me. "Doctor," he said, "I feel like my body's talking to me again. I'm not fighting it anymore. I'm working with it." That's exactly the goal, to rebuild trust between you and your own body, to remind your system that it's still capable of strength, pleasure, and vitality. Over time, as you continue this practice, the results compound. Your blood pressure stabilizes, your sleep deepens, your confidence grows. And the best part? These improvements aren't temporary. Unlike pills that fade after a few hours, this process builds strength that lasts. Because it's powered by your own biology. Every night, your body becomes more efficient at sending blood where it's needed, keeping your arteries open, your nerves sensitive, and your hormones balanced. The more consistent you are, the faster your results. 3 minutes each night might sound small, but those minutes can rewrite how your body functions. You'll notice you feel warmer, calmer, more energetic during the day. You'll catch yourself standing taller, thinking clearer, smiling more often. Because when blood moves freely, so does life. So if you've been wondering whether it's too late to reclaim your vitality, it's not. Your body is ready to heal. It's waiting for you to remind it how. And once you start, something incredible happens. The body you thought was slowing down begins to feel young again. Now that you understand what's happening inside your body, you might be asking, how do you make these results permanent? How do you take this nightly routine and turn it into a lifelong source of strength, energy, and confidence? That's exactly what we'll uncover next. Section 6. How to make the results last for life. The men who see the most powerful results from this technique are not the ones who try it once or twice. They're the ones who make it part of their nightly ritual, like brushing their teeth or saying a prayer before bed. Because real change doesn't happen from a single effort. It comes from consistency. The body learns through repetition. Every night you give it oxygen, movement, and calm, you're reinforcing a signal. This is how we stay alive. This is how we stay strong. I often tell my patients, the goal isn't to perform for one night, it's to live with vitality for the rest of your life, and that starts with the habits you build when no one's watching. 3 minutes before bed, a short walk after dinner, a glass of water before coffee. These small choices keep your circulation open and your confidence unshakable. It's not about perfection, it's about rhythm. When your days and nights move with balance, your body stays ready. And don't underestimate the role of gratitude and relaxation. When you go to bed tense, your blood vessels tighten. But when you close your eyes with calm, your body heals itself. Some of my patients even tell me that over time, the technique becomes meditative, a moment of peace that connects mind and body before sleep. If you commit to it, this becomes more than a physical exercise. It becomes a declaration that aging will not take away your strength or intimacy. Because the secret to lasting performance isn't found in a pill bottle, it's built inside you, one steady breath at a time. Now that you understand how to make this transformation permanent, there's one final piece: the lifestyle choices that supercharge these results and make your body thrive at any age. Let's talk about that next. Section 7. The mindset that keeps you strong for life. I've spent more than 30 years helping men restore their vitality, and if there's one lesson I've learned, it's this: the body follows the mind. You can master every technique, eat all the right foods, and still fall short if you don't believe you can change. The men who make the biggest transformations aren't the ones with perfect discipline. They're the ones who refuse to give up on themselves. They understand that strength begins in the mind long before it shows in the body. When I speak to my patients, I remind them that aging is not a sentence, it's a season. And every season can bring new growth if you nurture it. The truth is, your body listens to your thoughts. If you tell yourself you're too old, too tired, or too late, your body obeys. But if you remind yourself daily that you are still capable, still worthy, and still alive, your body will start to prove you right. I've seen it happen again and again. Men in their 70s and 80s who rebuild their confidence simply by changing the way they talk to themselves. You see, this journey isn't just about blood flow or physical power. It's about reclaiming the part of you that believes in possibility. When you approach each night's practice not as a chore, but as a declaration, "I'm not done yet," something powerful happens. You stop aging from the inside out. You start living with intention again. And that's the ultimate secret. The 3-minute ritual gives you the physical spark, but your mindset is what keeps the fire burning. Because once you believe in your strength again, every part of your life begins to rise with it. Now, as we come to the final part, I want to leave you with something special. A message from me to every man watching. A closing truth that will stay with you long after this video ends. Section 8. The daily ritual that keeps your blood flow alive. Every lasting change begins with something small, a simple action repeated with purpose. For men over 60, that action is creating a rhythm your body can depend on. The 3-minute bedtime technique jumpstarts your circulation, but what keeps it alive throughout the day is your daily ritual. Small, consistent habits that remind your body to stay young. I tell my patients, your body doesn't age in years. It ages in habits. And when you replace stillness with movement, tension with breath, and neglect with awareness, you begin to reverse time in ways that even medicine can't. Here's how I start my mornings, and how I ask my patients to start theirs. The moment you wake up, sit on the edge of your bed and take 3 deep breaths through your nose, slow and steady. Feel your chest rise, then exhale through your mouth and let your shoulders drop. Then flex your calves gently. Those muscles are your body's second heart, pushing blood upward. Finally, stand, roll your shoulders, and stretch your arms overhead. This takes less than a minute, but it sends a powerful signal to your circulation that the day has begun. Combine that with a glass of warm water, a short walk, and 5 minutes of quiet reflection or gratitude, and you'll notice something remarkable. Your energy, your focus, and even your confidence begin to return naturally. These aren't exercises, they're affirmations in motion. Small acts of strength that tell your body it's still alive, still capable, still powerful. And when you keep that rhythm, your blood flow stays awake all day long. But there's one final truth I want every man to understand. The deeper reason why this transformation matters far beyond the bedroom. It's about life, purpose, and legacy. Let's talk about that next. Section 9. The real reason your strength still matters. At this stage of life, many men believe their best days are behind them. They think the fire that once fueled their strength, confidence, and desire has quietly faded with time. But I've seen too many men prove that wrong. Men who, even in their 70s, rediscovered a sense of purpose that made their hearts beat stronger and their bodies come alive again. Because here's the truth. Your strength still matters, not just for performance, but for meaning, for connection, for life. I've sat across from men who told me they didn't care about their erections anymore, that it was just part of getting old. Yet when they regained them, when blood began to flow freely again, when energy returned, everything changed. They smiled differently. They stood taller. They reconnected with their wives, not out of obligation, but out of passion. They began to see themselves not as aging men, but as living men. Men with vitality, pride, and hope. That's the true gift of restoring your strength. It reminds you who you really are. Because this journey isn't just about the body. It's about reclaiming your sense of self. It's about waking up every morning knowing you still have power, purpose, and presence. You still have the ability to love deeply, to live fully, and to inspire others through your example. The 3-minute nightly ritual I've shared isn't simply a technique, it's a symbol of control. Proof that it's never too late to rebuild what time tried to take away. So tonight, before bed, take a breath, follow the routine, and remind yourself, you are not finished. You are only beginning a stronger, more confident chapter of your life. This is your time to rise again.